Good morning, sir, or afternoon now, really. Can you tell me what your name is?
My name is, my given name,
Whichever name you want to go by.
Maurice Zolkower. Zolko, goddamn WER.
Uh, you are a veteran. Which branch were you in, sir?
U.S. Army.
Or which years? What years?
I went in 1939 in the National Guard. It was a big mistake. I was in college. And the guy came to talk to us in the school, at the university. He said, you ought to join the National Guard twice a month, $12 a month. I said, $12 a month? In 1938, it was pretty good. I said, sign me up. So I signed up. In 2 months, it was federalized. I had to get out of school. So what? All right, I was in the College of Pharmacy. They put me in the infantry. I was in the 114th Infantry, Company B, heavy weapons platoon. I says, what's the matter with my pharmacy? Oh, they don't do much with pharmacy in the Army. I says, okay, whatever.
What was the name of your group that you were with?
What?
What was the name of the group you were with in the military, in the Army?
The group I was with?
Yes, sir.
I was on 114th Infantry, Company B.
Okay, they didn't have anything like the Fighting Tigers or...
They had come from Schofield Barracks, Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know where that is. I was over there. So you're a World War II veteran.
Oh, yeah.
That is amazing, and I'm very honored to be interviewing you right now.
I was the, what do you call it, Holocaust Liberator.
Really? Let's talk about that if you don't mind.
Oh, that was the worst day of my life. We were all the way up in Germany, 18 miles from Dachau concentration camp. And they said, you gotta go, and he got a message from Corps headquarters to liberate Dachau. So they got to get 125 riflemen, and they said, Zolkower, we need you and another medic. I says, well, I'm going to go see all those dead Jews over there. I said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. You got to go. You got to go. So I went. Terrible, terrible. Instead of going to the right where it says Maxaleben, we went in the railroad entrance. Got to the railroad entrance, they started shooting at the guys. It was a half-hour battle. The captain called headquarters and said, send a what do you call it, with the mechanized a half-track with a 50 caliber machine gun to the main entrance. So when the guys were hollering in German, Hände hoch, put your hands up. There was 4 women guards and 8 men guards. The women wouldn't put their hands up. Oh, they're the worst. The guy brought the machine gun and he killed them all. He killed them all. That was in there. I was in the camp maybe an hour, that's all. I said, get the hell out. It was terrible. Terrible, terrible.
Did you keep in contact with any of the guys that you were in?
I don't know everybody. Nobody.
Nobody?
Nobody. Nobody.
Are you proud of your service? Are you proud of your military service?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
I think you should be.
I had what they call a checkered Army career.
We got to hear about this.
Of course. I was in Columbia University College of Pharmacy, 1938. I did a year, and there was 44 guys in my class and four girls. They married 4 of the boys. Anyway, I did it. I didn't like it, but I did it.
So once you left the military, you said you became a pharmacist?
I got out of this. I was a year in the National Guard. And I got out and went back to college. And in another, I was in the reserve. 2 years later, they called me back in the Army again. That's the second time I got out of school. I was supposed to graduate in 1942. I got my degree in 1948. That's the way it happened to me. I had been married and all that. As soon as I got out of the Army, I got married. Well, 1946. I was with that lovely woman for 68 years. We lived here. I lived now 11 years in Mies, etc. I lived in Pinellas County for 50 years. I worked in every drugstore in this whole place.
That should make you an honorary local.
Oh yeah.
If you had a young person sitting across from you, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Become a
about
pharmacist. You make a good living, boy.
What about the military?
Now the pharmacist in the military is commissioned. But they weren't then. Not then.
I'm surprised with the military, with the medical background. They didn't
I've
put you more in corpsmen.
seen women lieutenant colonels, pharmacists.
So I see a lot of patches and emblems on your hat. Do you want to tell us about any of those?
Well, I was in so many different places. Every time I turned around, I said, "Zolkower, you're being transferred." They're being transferred. I thought, what the hell do they want from me? When I was in the Army for 1 year, I was in the heavy weapons platoon. What was it? A 60 millimeter mortar, right? The guys in my squad, they were idiots. It took them 5 years to become a private first class, you know? The captain says, "Zolkower, I'm promoting you to corporal." I was a corporal. I says, "Why me? You're the only one who knows how to aim the mortar." I says, "Okay." And he didn't tell me that the corporal had to carry the base plate. I had to carry that friggin' base plate. But after a year, I got out of there. I went back to school.
How much that base plate weigh?
I don't know, must have made about 15 pounds or something. I don't remember.
That's a lot to put on you.
Yeah.
So after you got out,
After I got out, let's see, after I went back to school, and I got my degree in 1948, BS in pharmacy.
did you?
And I got a job. I was a New Yorker. I got a job at the Hitchcock Pharmacy at the Hotel Roosevelt, 46th Street in Madison Avenue. And who was there? Guy Lombardo and the Royal Canadians. I knew all of those guys. I filled all their prescription. It was great.
Did you use the GI Bill to go through school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That paid for it all?
Paid for everything, including $90 a month for being married. It wasn't bad.
So, my partner in crime over here just got a good question for you. Who were some of the most influential people, leaders in the military that you met that impacted you?
That I met?
Yes, sir.
I didn't meet any big shots. My brother was a big shot. He was a hero. He got a Silver Star. He was in what do you call it, a armored division. He killed 18 Germans. They gave him a Silver Star, and the not elected, but they promoted him to a warrant officer. He was an officer, and he wound up as being a secretary to the Corps General, Wade Hayslip. Because he had gone to business school after he graduated high school. So he knew how to type, he knew how to take dictation. He was this guy's secretary. My brother, good guy.
Did you have any NCOs that were instrumental in teaching you leadership skills?
No.
No?
No, nobody.
How did you and your fellow military comrades get by with the negative times?
It was okay. I'll tell you what. When I was in the National Guard, there was anti-Semitism. They were against Jews. But when the war came out, nobody liked that. No, they were all great guys. I had all great guys.
So it was a little rough at first, but they accepted the differences because
Right.
because you were in the military together?
Yeah,
And they kind of broke down walls?
yeah.
That's, what was one of the most rewarding parts of serving your country?
I would say being in the 45th Division and getting a battle star for Central Europe. They said to me, no, you won't understand the Army. They said to me, we're going to send you to dental training school, become a dental technician. I said, a dental technician? He says, what about my pharmacy? He says, the Army has nothing to do with pharmacy anyway. Dental. I became a dental technician. I had that, and they put me in, they transferred me to the 7th Convalescent Hospital for all the GIs that were wounded or hurt and went back to duty. In other words, they went to the hospital, they got well, and they went back to duty. 7th Convalescent Hospital. And I was with them for quite a while in the dental clinic. I was did do nothing because the guys who did it, they knew what they were doing. They were making dentures and stuff. I was just cleaning up. I did that for a while. I get that, and then all of a sudden, I get a transfer. Zolkower, you're being transferred. That's it. To what? 92nd Mechanized Cavalry. 12th Armored Division. The Liberators. I says, what am I going to do there? Well, you're not going to be no more dental technician. They took my helmet off, gave me a helmet with a big red cross on it. He says, what's that? He said, you're going to be a, what do you call it? You're going to be
A corpsman?
corpsman, that's right.
Corpsman, yeah.
And that's why I used to go on a half track with 5 or 6 riflemen and a guy standing up in the front with a 50 caliber machine gun. And we were, in that time we were just about halfway in France, and they said, what are you doing here? I said, we're looking for Germans, you know. We never found any. It was hot stuff. Then all of a sudden, I get another thing, you're being transferred again. 120th Medical Battalion, 45th Infantry Division. That's where I wound up to the end of the war.
So what is something you wish more people knew about the sacrifices made by service members?
It was a tough life. I mean, all these guys that said, I was in the Air Corps. Yeah, you slept between the sheets. I slept on rocks, you know.
What's your proudest moment of your time in the military?
Pardon me?
Sir? What's your proudest moment of your time in the military, sir? What's a moment that you think back of that you were very proud of?
Very proud of her.
That's a hard question, I understand. There's probably
Yeah.
thousands of
Getting R&R in Paris.
them.
Twice.
Oh,
Twice.
so what was so good about R&R in Paris?
You got anything you wanted. It was nice.
So was Paris one of your favorite places that you got?
I've been in Paris many times. Even after I got out with my wife, and we traveled. We traveled all over the world. And behind the drug counter for 40 years, I said to Lady Lou, I would call her Lady Lou, I says, that's it, I'm going to retire. At 62, I retired, and we went around. We went over to around the world. I took on the 60th anniversary, I took a 38-day cruise on the Queen Mary, the big ship, the new one, Queen Mary. Went halfway around the world. It was hot stuff.
With you being a World War II veteran, have you been able to take advantage of the honor flight where they?
Oh, I went on the honor flight in the 15th.
Could you tell us about that experience?
Oh, yeah, that was very, very fun. I'll tell you another thing. My oral surgeon, Dr. Michael Picos, says to me, Murray, I want to be your chaperone. I says, you want to take me over there? Even if you can walk, you got to be in a wheelchair. So he pushed me around that whole day, 24 hours, from 2 in the morning till that day, 2. And we went on we came back to the airport, it was the little one here. And then my chaperone, Dr. Picos, says, Murray, I'm going to take you down out of the plane because I did this before. I know how to do it. So I'll go out in the air, in the wheelchair, and he pushes me out of the plane, down, and I go there, I see a guy, 2 stars, a major general. I says, I never saw a major general. I've been in the Army 4 years, I never saw a major general. He says, well, I had to come. They told me I had to be here, so here I am. What a nice guy. Air Force, a major general.
He was probably saluting you.
It was a nice guy. And that was it.
Well, you guys definitely deserve that honor of flying up there and seeing the memorial. It's pretty amazing.
I got a battle star for Central Europe on my what do you call my ribbons.
So, explain what a battle star is.
I became what they call what the hell do they call it? You know, I had 103. I can't remember everything.
You don't look 100.
Well, no wrinkles.
Just
What can I tell you? No wrinkles. My daughter, who is 75.
a battle star, that just says that you've been in combat?
Yeah, my daughter, who is 75, looks like 40. Look, she's real. She's a video actress. Makes a buck here and there.
Would you like to say something to her here right now? We'd be more than happy to put it on there. Tell her hello or anything.
Sure, I say hello, Francine. How are you today? Good. My ideal thing to say is stay well and live long. That's all. What else do you want?
A bag of money.
Well, you know, I had 2 little drugstores in my many years. One I had in, you know Long Island?
Yes, sir.
Hewlett, Long Island. I had the Franklin Pharmacy. And one little drugstore. I made a living right where the Long Island Railroad had a station. They closed the station. I had to close the store. Nobody walked past my store. That was bad.
So with situations like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
did your military training help you to adapt and move past the negative?
It helped me. It helped me close the store and get out of there. And I didn't do that until later on. We moved all the way out to Suffolk County, Long Island. You know, Hauppauge. That's the county seat, Hauppauge. I opened a little drugstore called Hauppauge Pharmacy in a medical building. Made a living. I had 4 children by then. And things were going pretty good. I think I was there about 2 or 3 years. Some guy comes in, he says, "Oh, I like this place. You want to sell it?" Well, I said, if the price is right, you know. He bought it from me. And he was a wise guy. He started to futz around with opioids and all that. They closed him up. They put him in a jail, etc. That was the end of that. That's about it. I have a young son. He's 62. He's been a pharmacist also for 35 years. Graduated upstate Florida.
The Gainesville area?
Yeah. He's a hospital pharmacist, which is a little different than a regular pharmacist. And he's a hospital pharmacist in a special hospital. 70 beds, okay, for very sick people, very special medicine. That's what he does.
Was he part of the military? Or
No.
Any of your 4 kids join?
No. He's doing very well. Let's see, he's 62. He's going to retire another 3 years, I think. Let's see, how old? He'll be 65 or 66.
With all of your wealth of life experience,
Yeah.
what would you tell a young person that was thinking about joining
I
the
can't
military?
hear you.
What would you tell a young person that would think about joining the military with all of your experience?
I would tell him to go and become a pharmacist and make a living. My son, he's a young guy. He's 62. He's making now $67 an hour. Huh? Okay? And he works three days a week. Great, he's got it made. That's the name of the game.
Do you have any other memories or thoughts that you'd like to share about your military experience?
Oh, you know, I had it, being a medic, it wasn't that bad. I never had a gun. Except when I was in the first year, when I was in the infantry, they gave me a 1918 .45 caliber automatic, which I carried for a year. After that, no more. That's about it.
That's about it. Do you have any wisdom that you'd like to share with anyone? Like a life goal, words of advice?
Well, I'll tell you. I made a living in my little drugstore because I had a credo, which I didn't tell anybody about. But my credo was, when in doubt, charge more. And I made a living. You know, it was tough. Don't forget, in 1957, the pills, you know, the orthonovum pills were $1.49. Today they're $40. The same thing, orthonovum, $40.
That's,
Isn't it?
it's highway robbery.
That's right. Right.
Well, we would like to thank you for your time and your military service, sir. On behalf of the Pinellas County Veterans Association, we
Oh, thank you.
very
It's
much for
quite
everything
all
you've done
right.
for our country.
If I can help, I certainly will.